Life outside of Dynamix's Eugene, Oregon studio is usually peaceful and quiet. But step inside and you'll find yourself deep in the trenches of war in Tribes 2. The original Tribes was released in 1998 and pitted players against each other in fierce online multiplayer battles in which teamwork was just as important as individual skill. Incite took a look at an early version of the game's sequel, Tribes 2, and from what we've seen, there's no denying that the tribal warfare will intensify. While many gamers see Tribes as nothing but a technically advanced deathmatch game, there is actually a deep plot underscoring the action. In Tribes 2, a terrifying bioengineered threat is about to enter the arena.
What we have in Tribes 2 is we have these 4 tribes that have had their political subplots develop in tandem actually with players in the community who have been in contact with me doing their role playing, and then I'll take some of it and weave it into the plot. And so we have this divided human community that's being invaded by the bioderms, who are an artificial bioengineered slave race that's revolted against the human empire.
The original Tribes didn't feature a single-player game, but with the recent success of titles such as Unreal Tournament and Quake 3 Arena, Dynamix chose to feature a ladder-based single-player tournament mode in Tribes 2, but with a plot.
We may throw some other things in there, but right now the plan is basically to model it sort of like Unreal Tournament, where what you see in the single player is what you see in the multiplayer. But what we're going to do is we're going to tell a story with the mission briefings and with in-game links to the player's website.
With its second incarnation, the Tribes experience promises to bring much more action to the battlefield. One of our favorite new features is a brand new way of transporting troops.
Ground vehicles will include the single-person ground scout. It's unarmed, lightly armored, but very fast and really a lot of fun to drive. Mostly reconnaissance vehicle, but it will get, like a flag carrier, will find it pretty useful to zip on over to the enemy base, grab the flag, and hopefully get back on the vehicle and come back. The second vehicle is the assault vehicle, and this one has the most ability for causing harm on the other team. You got a driver and then a gunner, which controls a turret, and it's a mix of speed, maneuverability, and firepower, and it should be a lot of fun for a lot of people. And the last ground vehicle is the armored personnel carrier, and it's I call it the bus because it's just this big people mover. It's slow and has no weapons, but it's really heavily armored. It's got 1 driver, 6 passengers who may be heavies, so potentially you could have a lot of firepower riding on the back of this thing and you can still shoot out from it.
The original weapons in Tribes are back for more action, but Dynamix is adding 3 new weapons to the arsenal, including a much-needed rocket launcher.
We're adding 3 new weapons, and I hesitate to spill the beans at this early point, but for sure I guess it's okay to say we're including the portable missile launcher, and that's probably one of the top weapons that have been requested. And this really just simulates like a Stinger.
Ice, snow, lava, lush grasslands, arid deserts, and harsh badlands make up the terrain of Tribes 2, but with a little creativity. These climates can be seamlessly combined to produce some unique battlegrounds.
And each one of these worlds can be combined with each other. You could have a lava world with snow, or you can have snow and lush, or lush and desert, anything that you want to do. And the game will actually mesh the textures together, so you won't actually have to find a bunch of transition pieces. It's pretty convenient, actually. One of the things that we're doing that really looks cool right now is volumetric fog. And the fog is altitude based, and it's up to the mission editor where they want to place the fog, how thick it is, and so on. And people in the fog are going to have their visibility really restricted. It's going to be pretty murky, not much of a range of being able to see things. People above the fog, like snipers, will have a fairly unobstructed view of events inside the fog. So you could potentially have people shooting at you that you can't see. And so it makes traveling within the fog a risky adventure.
With just a few clicks, players will be empowered with full control over the landscape and control the lay of the land with ease, including the various environmental attributes.
People will be able to generate terrain heights based on a fractal bump map generator, filter it for different things that they want to do. Say if you wanted to make a map of high plateaus, it's like 3 or 4 clicks and you're on. If you want to make a bunch of steep valleys and real rigid peaks, it's seconds. And there's really no limit to the different kinds of terrain you can create. People will be able to actually export and re-import the bump map. So you can export a fractally generated bump map, play around with it in a graphical editor to maybe put a river right down the middle of the map that you can't get fractally. And then re-import it and reapply textures. You can tell the textures, well, whenever the altitude gets below a certain height, add water to that, or water textures, and then you can import the actual water volume. And really, won't take that long, and it's not that big of a deal.
Most impressive is how any object, such as a fort, can be resized with the touch of a mouse. Select an object and drag any vertex for instant results.
The objects are really cool. You can import or grab objects from the object list, place them anywhere in the world, and then adjust them not only three-dimensionally, but you can also scale them, where you could put a little rocky crag that's normally 6 feet tall, and you can make it any size.
Although the gameplay was still in the works, Dynamix has already proven itself worthy with tribes. And when you improve upon a good thing, the end result should be nothing short of spectacular.